Hello and welcome to tonight's show, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Mairi Newberry. Now, Mairi I met actually in Los Angeles. How wonderful was that? But she's an experienced drummer. She's had an amazing repertoire of music, and she's just in fact penned her very first single. So Mairi, hi, lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to see you again after all this time.
I know. Do you know, I was trying to think when we last saw each other. I mean, we did see each other, I think, about a year ago when we met up briefly. But, Mairi, this has been a strange year, hasn't it?
I know, it's been crazy, hasn't it? It's been crazy times.
And
Really.
obviously you're living in Scotland, so you've had slightly different regulations to what we've been having here in the UK. But we're coming out of it. We've got positive thoughts. You know, we're getting through this. But what's it been like for you during lockdown, Mairi, as a musician?
It's been very difficult. I think the main thing has been trying to remain positive throughout the whole thing. From a performance point of view, obviously, like everyone else, I've been unable to play. So I decided, right, maybe it's time to concentrate on recording an album, which I've always wanted to do. So I decided to think, right, okay, it's time to channel some positivity and try and help the world pick up their mood a little bit. And that was why I decided to start the album I've always wanted to do. So
it's really, so in other words, I mean, the bad effects of COVID have actually had a really good effect on you personally. Did it allow you to perhaps have a bit more time to, to give yourself some more time to actually write and sit down and, do the things you wanted to do?
absolutely. I remember actually when Boris first announced the lockdown, I remember sitting on the sofa thinking, okay, this is a really such a huge life event really for everybody in the whole world. And I just started to channel my thoughts into how I could try and express myself, and I wanted instantly to cheer everybody up. I think because I'm used to entertaining people, through my band, and my band's always been very high energy, and everything I do seems to be high energy. And I started to channel my thoughts into my heart and thought, right, what am I going to do? I want to produce something special that people can watch and listen and enjoy. So that was a whole driving force behind the album.
Yeah, I mean, you must miss being out on the road, right? And doing your gigs and working with people. I've spoken to many musicians, and they're all missing it desperately. So, but let's start at the beginning. But how long ago was it you started to play the drums?
Well, it was 38 years ago.
You don't get a day over 21. It's all good.
Yeah, a long time ago now.
Yeah, and was it always the drums for you, or did you pick up another instrument, or did you? That was it, the drums, and that was it. That was you for life.
It was the drums, and I don't know why I started. I remember being really young. I'm talking like sort of 4 years old. And I remember my mother had an easel in our living room and a chalkboard, and she handed me long sticks of chalk, and I started hitting the blackboard instead of drawing with it. My mum was like, no, okay, I think you fancy percussion, don't you? And my
yes.
So my dad used to he was a guitar player, so he and I used to jam along to albums every evening, and then I really realised I loved percussion and drumming, so basically it was percussion and drumming throughout my whole life. I had a wee bit of a go at bassoon and decided I really didn't enjoy that. And then I turned into I never thought I could do it in a way, but I always really, really had a serious love for smooth jazz throughout my whole school life, teenage life. Smooth jazz was my biggest love, and although I never got to play it and perform it, I always wanted to write it, and it was only now that I started doing it. So
that's great. I mean, as you say, it's giving you that time, giving you the opportunity to actually take the time, sit down and write, because it is, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to write a song. There's a thought process, I should imagine, Mairi, isn't there, that takes you through that. And I mean, you say you come from a musical family, so was your family very supportive of what you do?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I ended up shutting myself in the kitchen most of the time before I started, before I got in touch with my producer and took everything out to the studio. So yeah, a lot of the time I was spending my day just thinking about how to channel positivity and lovely melodies that I've had rooted in me, I suppose, from the kind of music that I was listening to as a child, teenager, adult, as my life sort of went through, So yeah, I was getting lots of support, and because of that, I suppose it helped me express in the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
through my music, you know.
Yeah, well, what better way to express, really? So, tell us about your band, Maurice, because I know you've done a couple of, sort of live gigs, via social media, because you haven't been able to get out and perform as you normally would. But has that been an important part to you? When did you first get together?
My band, the current one I have at the moment is 8 years old. It actually was Aberdeen's first all-female singing and performing band that the city had. And it was actually inspired by my drum teacher, Kim Thompson, who was actually Beyonce's drummer. So it was quite a, like that actually was one of the reasons that I was aware of meditation and music, actually, was because my drum, it's a long story, but she actually
We've got time.
invited
We've
me
got
to
time. Go ahead.
yeah, she invited me to meditate before I played, and the whole experience of being in New York with her and everything else started the whole girl band idea that I set up in Aberdeen and became a successful band for 8 years. So, well, when we couldn't play because of lockdown, I thought, right, we need to get together and create a nice sort of couple of cover versions for the public to enjoy. So we did Michael Jackson's version of Smile, and tried to focus on bright colours and things to try and keep people feeling happy and, loved through this hard time. So that's what we did. And then I started to focus on my album after that. So
Yeah, and you say, I think most musicians have wanted to give back, haven't they, during this pandemic, because they've realised, the music has stopped so much as for us fans going to a concert, but
yeah,
it's still there. So they wanted to give back, and I've seen many collaborations, so many things you wouldn't normally have seen, for instance,
and
because of the pandemic. We've seen some top celebrities, top musicians coming out and just saying, look, we're still here. Do you miss that? Do you miss that kind of interaction with your audience?
very much so, very, very much so. But I think the main thing was, it was a shock, the whole thing, when it was like, we must stop. But you know what? I think that's why it's really important to focus on things that we still can try and connect with people, even if they're not aware that we are. For instance, my video, for example, the way we went about filming that video, we used lots of bright colour, focused on the beauty of the world. And I know it's a subject I feel it's not discussed enough, actually, this whole subject. But it was a way to try and connect with everybody that watched this video, to try and show them some nice things, because it is hard to reach out and perform to people when they're not there in front of you.
Yeah,
So
and it must be difficult as a drummer, because the drummer is often the band member that sits at the back, but it's a very important piece of the band, instrumental actually to any band, and it must have been difficult for you to kind of think about all that because of the lockdown, and then transfer your skills, as you say, into writing and then producing this lovely video. Where was the video made? Sorry, where was it made?
it was one of our treasure trove beaches up here. It's a beach called Newberry. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, I've lived here all my life, and my producer, Steve, was the man who introduced me to this beach. I'd never actually been, and it absolutely took my breath away. I mean, there's so much wildlife, there's seals, there's all sorts of things. And it's just this huge, I mean, you can see roughly about 15 miles down the coast.
Wow.
It's a breathtaking spot. So that's why we thought, right, we're going to film the video there. So hence the reason we got Charlotte in the red dress, because this video was about love.
Yes, and it's a beautiful video. I've seen the video, and in fact, our audience are going to watch it a bit later on after the interview with you. But it's a wonderful, as you say, a wonderful piece. It kind of soothes you. It's very calming, and like you just said, that was what you were going for. That was what you wanted to do.
Absolutely. And I think my mission was to create my own sound, because I've been an avid listener of, as I said earlier, smooth jazz. Shack Attack in particular have always been my favourite band forever, for as long as I can remember. Good old Brit jazz funk, Yeah. But I wanted to put a sort of a fresh twist on it in my own way. So what I tried to do was try to create something what I call SMOP, which is smooth jazz pop.
Yes, I like that, SMOP. That's a new word. you've created a new word and a new genre. So, but that's great though, because it, you know, it is a little bit of that really, because it is very smooth, but it is equally a pop record. So, did you come up with that one? Was that your name?
Mop, yes.
You see, you've heard it here first. Everybody will be using it now, Mara. Everybody will be using it. But you know, but it is, and what it must have been very exciting for you to not have only have penned your first single, but to go and do this video, realize the impact that's going to have on people, and to, you know, put it out there to your audience really. And what's the impact so far? When is it has it been released already, or is it due to be released?
It's actually due to be released on the 19th of February. And the reason we're actually holding off that long is just so I can get to all the magazines to get some reviews and just to make sure we get a really good coverage for the song, because I'm looking to, I hope that we get a good global coverage for this, because it's meant to hit all ages. You know, this is a song for everybody and a video for everybody, you know, so that's why we've gone about it in the way that we did. We kind of hope we can get a nice younger following as well.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful that you've given it to us as an exclusive. So, you know, thank you for that. And as I say, we'll listen to it later. So, as far as drumming's concerned, Mairi, how do you find your experience as a female drummer? I mean, do you find now that more females are taking up drumming, because it's always been, hasn't it, a male, definitely a male orientated profession? Do you feel now that more females are coming into drumming?
Definitely. You see it more and more, and it's great to see,
Yeah.
actually. It's fantastic. And actually, my female teacher, Kim, she was, I think, the first prominent, apart from Sheila E., of course, drummer that I really follow because of her jazz side to her playing, you know. But yeah, it is becoming more common now, which is a great thing, you know.
It is. I mean, you know, anybody should be able to play any instrument, but it's wonderful to see, you know, and I've seen you perform, and it's very high energy. And as you say, there's lots of energy there between you as a band. And that's what it should be about, shouldn't it? It should be about enjoying your music. And you clearly still enjoy doing what you're doing.
Very much. To me, it's all about giving. You know, I just want to give love to my audience and the world. I know, you know, I don't mean that to sound wishy-washy in a way, but you know, it's all about giving and trying to uplift other people.
Yeah.
You know?
And do you find you're continually learning as a drummer? Or do you find that you're, you know, do different things all the time, or do you find that's it, you've done now?
Oh, no. I'm learning every single day. I mean, it's actually been really interesting working with Steve, my producer, who's also an amazing drummer, by the way. But we've been doing a lot of drum programming as well, which has been really, really interesting, especially with creating this mop sound. That's been a really interesting challenge, you know, because some of the albums hybrid, you know, we've done a bit of live playing, we've crossed over with programming, we've done both at the same time, we've done all sorts of things. So it's a massive, massive learning curve for me, which I'm really enjoying. Huge challenge.
Is there any particular part of the drumming that you prefer? You know, do you prefer to kind of, you know, do very loud, very rocky way of drumming, or is it just this, do you err towards the smooth jazz kind of feel?
From my heart,
Yes.
I will say, I like, my favourite style of drumming, I would say, is smooth funk, like the Brit funk, you know, laying down.
Yes.
I tend to sometimes go a bit on the flamboyant side because I've just got so much heart and enthusiasm with what I'm doing. But I really enjoy smooth jazz grooves, you know, and a bit of freestyle when I've got space to have a bit of freestyle as well. I think it's, you know, sorry, yeah, go.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's as well as it's as you say, it's having that freedom, really, I suppose, to do what you want to do. And that's the wonderful thing about being a musician, creating new sounds, doing new things.
Absolutely, yes.
No, it's amazing. And as far as, you know, your gigs were concerned, did you have things lined up, Mairi, before lockdown? And of course now they've had to be put on hold. You know, what are you going to be doing in 2021? Have you got things planned?
Yes, well, sadly, my band had a full diary, which obviously was postponed to 2021.
Yes.
Half of that now has been postponed to 2022.
So
But no,
difficult, isn't it? It really is.
I just feel really sorry for all our clients that were looking forward to their weddings and parties. It's terrible for them, you know. That's what's on my mind most. So, and through obviously, I'm still preparing the band again for when we're going back out again with up to date set and new ideas and things like that to try and keep ourselves fresh. Although we've not been working.
Yeah.
So it's kind of preparing ahead for that. But really, I'm just really focusing on the album with my producer. We're hard at work with that because that is the direction that I'm going now, and really want to get this music out and create lots and lots more. We're on our 7th track now of the album, so we're getting there slowly to create something really special. And we're lucky because we've got some really great musicians on the album as well, which makes it even more special. So
that's great. Can you tell us any of those, or is that top secret at the moment?
no, I can't tell.
Oh, lovely.
So for Smooth Heart, which is our first single on the title track of the album, we actually have Bill Sharp of Shark Attack, who played the piano and keyboards, which I mean was a huge honour for myself because I've followed their music all my life. So it was very special to have him play that track, and especially at the end of the video, when people watch this, it's really important they watch right to the end because he's does this most amazing solo, and Charlotte does fabulous dance and the scenery of the whole beach and everything. It's a really special moment, so I really recommend people do watch to the very end of the video.
Yes. And then, future-wise, Mairi, do you feel that you're going to, obviously you've got the album, you're working on that now, and I mean that's very time-consuming, but you've got the opportunity, I suppose, because of COVID, that to have this opportunity to, as you say, explore your creativity, perhaps try new things, work with different people. And do you feel this is the direction your life's going to take now?
Absolutely, it feels like the right thing to do. You know, it's funny how I always people used to always say to me, "Listen to your gut instinct and follow it." And many times before COVID, I actually used to fight my gut instinct with several things, with a bit of stubbornness mixed in. But now I am definitely following my gut instinct, and I've been definitely called to do this. That's how I feel. You know, I'll still play drums very much so once the band gets out, yes, but my main focus is this album and carrying on afterwards. So I'm bringing nice music to the world. Mm-hmm.
That's it. But once a drummer, always a drummer. Now, tell us about the drum marathon which you did with Errol Kennedy from Imagination. Now, he's just recently been on my show, so it was great to talk to him about that. But you were obviously part of that as well. That must have been very exciting.
That was an amazing experience. It was a huge honour to be part of, actually. It was. I was the only drummer in Scotland involved in the drumathon, so it was awfully nice to be asked to be part of something like that. And what an experience that was in all sorts of ways.
I can imagine. And there was drummers from all over the world, wasn't there, on that particular drum marathon there? So it was, as you say, it must have been such a wonderful thing for you to be involved.
Definitely. I mean, for me, for many reasons, actually. I was actually diagnosed with fibromyalgia back in 2015 on that trip, actually, we were on. I fell really ill. Excuse me. And my doctor actually said at 1.5 years ago, you're going to have to take a very, very long-term rest playing drums. And I thought, no way am I going to do that. No way. So I didn't. And I found a therapy that really worked for me. But I always knew I could play 4 hours, no problem, because that's the average performance time for a function band in this part of the world. However, when I was asked to do the drumathon, it was 12 hours with 10-minute breaks every 2 hours. And I thought, I'm going to do this. You know, I was focusing on why, and the reason why was for these amazing NHS doctors and nurses who were working relentlessly around the clock to save people's lives. And I thought, well, you know, they knock in 12-hour shifts plus, so why can't I do it? You know,
it's an incredible thing for you to do then, Mairi, because you say, I was going to touch on that with your fibromyalgia. Now, tell us about that. You were diagnosed in 2015. How has that impacted your life? Because it's incredibly painful, isn't it? For people who don't know, just tell us a little bit about your symptoms and what you have to go through on a daily basis.
Well, it's like somebody injecting fire into all your veins. So imagine some fire running through your whole body, and then sort of your back seizes up and your legs and your hips, and you just feel like you've been in a big fall every morning. But I wasn't prepared to give in to that because I felt I still had more to give. I wasn't going to stop playing, and because I didn't know what else was coming in life. So I thought, no, I'm not going to give in at this point. I was 40, so I thought, no. So I found active isolated stretching, which I did every single day. And now my fibromyalgia is quiet. If I start feeling it coming on, I know what to do about it. But I got over it. I got on top of it, which was brilliant. And I hope this brings anyone watching with pain, stress, anything like that. This helps. And I can say it can get better without any medication. And people want to reach out to me, that's fine. I can help people.
Yeah.
But the main thing is to give hope to people that if you fall ill with this, it can get better and life will get better.
That's very inspirational, Mairi. You are an inspiration as a musician, but equally living with your condition. It's an incredibly painful condition, and for people that are watching this that also have it themselves will have a true understanding, of course, of the pain it involves. And you say you have it under control now, which is fantastic, and that enables you then to be able to do what you want to do, which is make music.
Definitely. And that was the thing with the drumathon, because I remember I did the drumathon overnight. I was very lucky. A local hotel allowed me to set up in their function suite because it was closed with lockdown. So I was the only person there, as well as the general manager who was in a different part of the hotel. So I was in this function suite, and I remember the curtains were closed, but I remember about 4 a.m, I saw the light coming through the curtains, and I seemed to go into this kind of daze. I actually reckon I was meditating whilst I was playing.
Really?
It was a really weird moment. I remember it very well, and I was playing Slip Away by Shack Attack. So it's a very repetitive drum groove. And I remember thinking, how am I playing drums? Because I wasn't really feeling like I was playing drums anymore. I was somewhere else.
It was like an out-of-body experience by the sounds of it.
Definitely. And it was at that point, I had my 10-minute break just after I went and opened the doors and heard the birds chirping and looked up at the sky and thought, this is so beautiful, and realised that that's what inspired me to start this album, was that moment.
Wow. So it's quite a profound, sounds like a very profound effect on you.
Definitely. It's very powerful, really powerful. And I hope that through the album that comes through the music as well.
And the rest of the album, Mairi, what's the sort of feel to it? Is it going to go along the sort of smooth jazz, you say smop? Is it going to go along that kind of lines? I know you're working on it at the moment, as you've just said. Is it going to be the same sort of thing? Is that what you're aiming for?
Very much so. It's going to be a bit of smooth jazz infused with a little bit of urban, a little bit more jazz, but generally as a big picture, it's going to be smop. But yeah, people will hear a little bit of urban in there too, but very much the same kind of feel. It's all very happy, uplifting music. The videos will all be things that are natural in the world. There's going to be nothing unhappy, nothing dark. It's all going to be what's there right there in front of us, just a lot of us don't see it.
Yes, in fact with the COVID, it's actually maybe taken us time to stop and take note of things, and maybe treasure the things that we've taken for granted, just like going for a cup of coffee with friends. We haven't been able to do that. Going out and walking with nature. I mean, Scotland has an amazing array of places you can visit, which are absolutely stunning, stunning scenery. So you're in the right place to make all these lovely videos. Do you plan to do that, Mairi? Because obviously it's very important to you. That's where your roots are. Do you plan to use the Scottish landscape to incorporate that into your album?
Very much so, but we will probably go further afield also. We want to do a bit of everything, I think. I think the main thing is that we find the most beautiful place for the kind of sound palette that we have at the time for each song. But yeah, where we live, we're very, very lucky. It's right on our doorstep. So yeah, absolutely will be lots more where we are for sure.
So it sounds to me that spiritually and emotionally, this whole experience, the terrible experience really of COVID and the effect it's had, has had quite a profound effect on you.
It has actually, and I think it's really strange because I actually, it didn't, it came itself to me as well. I didn't force anything. I think before COVID, I was always on planes going here, there, and everywhere, literally every 10 days. And I just wasn't stopping. I wasn't really tuning into myself, reevaluating what my purpose is and what I can do for others via me. What have I got to offer? I think was the thing. And when I listened to, I was sitting down watching MTV one day and all the sort of music and the channels that are on, and thought about the music I love personally, and the way I feel I can emotionally express myself for other people. So that's where Smop came from. It was I had a real think about it, but it definitely came that morning. During the drumathon. It was so strange because I'd been drumming at this point for about 9 hours. I still had a bit to go, But isn't it funny what comes when you're really in the middle of something? Quite amazing. Because technically, I could have failed in front of the whole world with the drums for 12 hours. I didn't know what my body was capable of after 4.
Yeah. And how did your body feel, Mairi, after that 12-hour stint? I should imagine you'd have been on quite a high, actually, when you finished.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people thought, oh, you must have been really sore. I was so high.
Because the adrenaline would have been going, yeah.
I went back the next day and drummed another 4 hours. I don't know what that's about, but I'll tell you what that was about. It was the positivity I got from the experience of the drumathon. Yeah. And what came to me that morning, I was so excited. After that second day, I started the album. That's when the songs started to come.
So it really did have a profound impact on you, and as you say, you started it straight away. And and what about collaborations, Mairi? Because you're always going to be a drummer, as you've said, and that's your profession, and you work with some incredible artists. But is it now? Do you feel now that you're going to step into the realm of being a musical artist in so much as writing your own things, writing your own music? Is there anybody that you feel you would collaborate with, or do you feel that you're going to just, for this particular album at least, you're going to take this one on yourself and just take it on board and do it yourself?
It's really a journey with myself and my producer as well, because Steve's helped me. It's a man called Steve Curtis, by the way, from Floor Tom Studios in Aberdeenshire. He's sort of really helping me develop the sound. So it's such a specialist sound, really, what we're doing. But we're always open to collaborating with anybody that feels the same about the music. We're lucky we've got Mike Mondesir as well. He's been playing a bit of bass from one of our tracks. So I'm finding I'm sort of reaching out to people, and if people reach out to us, this is about love and creating a really good sound. So
do you think musicians, maybe because of the pandemic, that have kind of come together a bit more, Mairi? Do you feel that?
I think so, yeah, I would say so. Certainly from what I've seen, yeah, absolutely. They're trying, and they're all trying. It's funny, you notice the ones who want to give as well, because there's so many people, as you said earlier, performing online now, doing things for free as well.
Yeah, but that's a big problem, isn't it, for musicians? Because we've lost so much already, and now so many musicians are giving away their music for free.
Yeah,
but there lies the problems, isn't it? It's wonderful that we can stream, wonderful that we have access, but from your fan point of view and from your monetary point of view, it's really difficult now for an artist to make money, isn't it?
It's very difficult, and I think that's why it's really important that we just keep on going and keep creating as much as we can, and by creating music that people want to buy, something that makes them feel good and they enjoy to listen to. Nothing too heavy. I don't mean heavy as in rock. I just mean heavy emotionally. So
I understand. And do you feel, Mairi, that you said that you were the first female band or rock band or all band to be in Scotland? Do you feel that that's something now that you're going to see more of? Are we going to see more of just female bands?
I hope so. Glitz, funnily enough, is actually now a unisex band. We were, to start with, an all-female band.
Yeah.
I hope so. I just think, what? I think since COVID, I think it's really important we just see good musicians collaborating together and helping each other.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
shouldn't really matter, should it really? Whether you're male, female,
Mm.
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It should make no difference. The important thing is that you're giving music, and you're giving music to your fans that they're enjoying, of course, which is really important. So when you release this album in February, when do you see yourself going out to promote it? Would you like to go on the road and start promoting it there and then, Mari?
Absolutely. I'll be starting. I'm at Mari Drums is where all the information is. So people can subscribe there and pre order the release just shortly. And then, yeah, I mean, I want to be out there promoting this as much as possible. There will be hopefully fairly soon a live show to go with that if hopefully we get the opportunity. But I think the main thing is I am a new artist and this is a new genre, if you like. But I really hope everyone really enjoys it. And continues to support the album, and then we can carry on and create lots more music.
And do you find now you've started, is there a will now to kind of, oh great, I've got to get this one done because you've got other ideas coming to you? Are you finding that now?
Yeah, there's loads of songs. We've got plenty in the bank to do.
Sounds like you're going to be busy, Mari. That sounds like you're going to be terribly busy.
Definitely. I mean, it's funny because I don't think about the songs, that they just come, and that's the way this album seems to have worked. Every song has come, you know, I won't be thinking, oh gosh, I need to write another song now. I'll just be doing the dishes or doing something, and this hook comes into my head, and I'm like, that's definitely going to be and I sit down and write the words just come out straight away. So then I'll tell Steve, and then I'll go upstairs in my house and start the basics of it, and then send it over to the studio, and we take it from there. So it's very much each song comes to in its own time, but they're all coming fairly regularly, so it's nice.
Well, that's great. And as you say, it's great that you've got somebody around you that can support you and you're working together. And, you know, it seems to be working really well. And as you say, the future holds so many things for you, Mari, really. But, you know, but you're a drummer, always a drummer. So that's something that, you know, is something going to be dear to your heart. Do you find that, you know, music, whatever instrument you play, whatever you do, is going to be important, you know, in the coming years because we've gone through this COVID?
Absolutely. And I think as well, it's very important people find music that makes them realize that life is positive and there's lots of beauty and positive things around them, because there's been a lot of, you know, mental health. We've all had, you know, depression or struggling thoughts regarding this pandemic. It's so difficult financially and obviously health wise. It's been so awful. So I think what's really important is I'm also hoping to help people with mental health as well, that everything is cheerful. And, you know, because there is a lot of darkness out there, isn't there? You know,
there is,
people
and we've seen that, haven't we? And again, it's wonderful that you're, you know, trying to reach out to your fans, to anybody really that really needs your help and support, and that you're there to support them. And as you say, I think music has been the one thing that people have turned to. I mean, certain radio and television have just increased, you know, threefold because during this time, because people just want to have contact with people, and music makes you feel better.
Definitely, and that's the thing. I think that's why it's important to be writing honest music, honest about nice things.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you find that you being a musician and doing your music, do you think that helps with your condition?
Definitely. I think, I mean, fibromyalgia, many conditions are based on inflammatory sort of reactions. So I think that's another thing. People can get ill if they're stressed or if they're surrounding themselves with vibrations that aren't great, that aren't happy. You know, dealing with this pandemic, there's been so much negative energy out there, naturally, I suppose, because it's such a negative situation. Isn't it really? You know, and I think it's very important that we try, and I suppose it comes from my experience trying to battle my own condition. I was determined not to have the negative win, you know, because negativity can win really easily. Yes. You know, the darkness, it's really, you know, it can strike really hard. So I think we should try and reset ourselves and think, right, what's going to be good about my day today? I'm going to listen to some music that's nice and happy. I'm going to think of the sunshine. If it's raining, oh well, what's good about the rain? You know, it's just trying to stay positive.
Yeah, it's almost, as you say, having a positive spin on everything during your day, rather than focusing on of course, we've got so much negativity around at the moment, for very good reason in some cases. So it's really important, as you say, that you focus on that positivity, and music can help you do that. In fact, doctors now are prescribing music therapy because they have realized the importance that it can have. We've seen it with Alzheimer's, we've seen it with dementia. It'd be wonderful, Mara, if you could perhaps inspire, people who have got and living with fibromyalgia, that you can actually say to them, look, music helps, it works.
Absolutely, definitely. That's really important. I mean, our music's actually tuned in line with harmonial vibrations. It actually, there is such a thing as that.
Yes.
It's really, there's a lot of thought gone into this music. It's, although the topic is love, all my songs are about love, but I think that's
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. To me, love is everything.
Yeah, we say that very flippantly, but actually love is everything, isn't it? And I think, again, we've been through this very stressful time. We've realized that, people around you, having the right people around you, making sure that you surround yourself with positive people and positive energy, can have a massive impact on your life.
Hugely, definitely. And that's, I think, that I think is what came to me at 4 o'clock that morning, was the feeling of love. The birds, the sky, everything. It was just, wow, this is really nice. But you know what? It was trying to put a 21st century modern twist with this music. So younger generations of people will enjoy dancing to it. They'll enjoy listening to it. But but they can connect to the topic as well,
Yes, I understand it. And it sounds like you've really gone down the right path, Mari. Whatever happened, that marathon was very impactful on you, really.
Hugely. Yeah, definitely was.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, Mari. Thank you so much. And we're going to play out with your very, very brand new, yet to be released. So we have an exclusive here on my show of your wonderful song, Smooth Heart. But thank you so much for joining me, Mari. We'll catch up with you maybe in the new year after the release is done, and we'll see how things are going. But really, all the best to you, and thank you for the music. It's been amazing.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
It's been really great. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.